Hi, could I have pancakes? This is Pancake King, right?
No.
Bah.
Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my First Amendment rights vlog style. In wake of the news of the Pantera, Damage Plan, and Hell Yeah drummer Vinnie Paul's tragic passing this past week, I found myself thinking about a particular part of the video I made on Downfall Network last year.
Everyone shits on Pantera because it's a joke. In fact, a lot of people out there that shit on Pantera, including myself, actually like him. It's just funny to do it because the fans are fucking Pantera.
I know people are going to say that this isn't something that only metalheads do. I hear ya. Don't worry. But like many of the other topics I've covered regarding metal elitists, I don't really see this happen much outside of metal. It's when they bash a band, or genre for that matter, because of the fans, and not so much for the music. This is a commonality with a lot of the bands I've made a What's Wrong With about, as well as the bands Cover Killer Nation talks about in his 5 Reasons People Hate series. The people that bash them shift their focus to the fans when the discussion is supposed to be about the music, at least I think so. That's why I hardly ever even mention the fans when I do a What's Wrong With, unless it's done in passing, because it has nothing to do with the music. The issue isn't that people don't like certain bands. If you just don't like the music, that's your deal. That's a valid response. The issue I have, like many of the other things I've talked about regarding metal elitists, is the reasoning why the band is being bashed, especially in this case because I'm someone who wants to talk about purely musical or even lyrical reasons why one likes or dislikes an artist. The fans are neither of those things. The main takeaway for why I think this line of reasoning is silly is that the fans aren't the ones making the music. The artists themselves are. And of course, the producer and any outside writer are added into the equation, like Robert John Mutt Lange with Def Leppard, for example. These people are the ones that directly contribute to making a song or album what it is. The fans are completely separate. Shitty fan bases aren't anything new. There are a lot of things I can name, both in and out of music, that are known for having fan bases that are either annoying, dickish, stupid, or a combination of the three. An obvious example that I poked fun at in videos before is Slayer. Slayer fans have a reputation for being obnoxious with their worship of the band, especially when someone says something that sounds even remotely negative about the band. It's why I personally think they have one of the worst fan bases in music, but do I use that as a reason why I don't like the band? No. On the contrary, I actually like Slayer's first 6 albums. I wouldn't exactly say I'm a huge fan, but Slayer isn't a band that I outright disrespect. Radiohead is another band that has a reputation for not having the most likable fan base. One of the earliest videos on my channel is actually a video about those kinds of fans. If you ask me, I'd say Radiohead has the most snobbish fan base in music, if not one of the most snobbish. But does that mean I dislike Radiohead's music? Absolutely not. With them, I'm mostly into their first 4 albums. Again, like with Slayer, I'm not a huge fan per se, but I do find the band to be decent and respectable. Pink Floyd is another band that comes to mind because I do have a memory of telling people that certain fans of theirs that I might or might not have gone to high school with kind of ruined the band for me. In reality, that's kind of a lie, as I didn't allow these kinds of Pink Floyd fans to outright ruin the music for me. I still find the albums Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and The Wall to be well done albums, and I find David Gilmour to be a good guitarist. Even with bands I do admit to disliking, I aim for my reasons to have largely to do with the music itself, because that's the only relevant thing to bring up about the band in this kind of context. In my video, I'm not obligated to like or dislike anything. I mentioned that I don't care for Nirvana. Now, while my opinion on them has softened considerably over the years, which I'll link in the description to a post I made on my fan page that elaborates further on that since I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, I still don't really care for their music or for Kurt Cobain as a guitarist, singer, or songwriter. Do I take issue with Nirvana fanboys making Kurt out to be a martyr? Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the music, so it would be dumb of me to act like that's the band's fault. This also reminds me of that period of time back in 2012-2013 when it was hip and trendy to bash PewDiePie and act like he and the bro army were the most cancerous thing to happen to YouTube. My friend Skullripper4900, who, unlike me, is actually someone that follows PewDiePie, made 2 very good videos back then about this subject that I'll link in the description, where he questions how and why exactly PewDiePie is to blame for his fanbase, let alone why that's a good reason to hate someone. By the way, Skullripper, please come back to making videos. You're the voice of reason we don't deserve. One thing to realize when evaluating a fan base is that you can disassociate from said fan base without giving up the music. Just like with separating the art from the artist, it is possible to separate the art and the artist from the fan base. If you enjoy something but can't stand its fans, just keep enjoying the thing independent of the fan base. That's basically what I do with metal as a whole. I've said in videos before that I love metal, but I don't associate myself with the label metalhead. A, because of the elitists, and B, because my music taste extends far beyond metal into territory categories metalheads tend to not like exploring, like pop, punk, and rap. Obviously, you can listen to other music and still call yourself a metalhead. I just choose not to do that. But am I gonna stop listening to My Chemical Romance because a lot of the MCR fans I know like to hype the fuck out of them? At the end of the day, I still like MCR's music, and the fans have no effect on that fact. The only reason I would have to stop listening to a band altogether is if I were to get bored of the music or grow a distaste for it, which has yet to happen with any of the music I like, even bands who I think have been going downhill with their more recent albums, such as Five Finger Death Punch, Weezer, and Linkin Park, with the exception of Hunting Party. That album's good. Another thing to keep in mind when evaluating a fan base is that you shouldn't generalize the fan base. Whenever I say something like,
Led Zeppelin fans act like they're the be-all end-all of good music and that there'll never be a better guitarist than Jimmy Page, or a better singer than Robert Plant, or a better album than Led Zeppelin 4.
it's clearly an exaggeration, and I know not all Led Zeppelin fans are like that. This actually relates back to the main point of my word analysis about the word fanboy, that not all fans of something are inherently fanboys, and what differentiates a fan from a fanboy is their attitude. Like, Alter Bridge might be my favorite band, but I wouldn't consider my attitude about them to be fanboyish, so that should say something.
But Shades, what about how you constantly call Dave Grohl Jesus? Wouldn't that make you a fanboy of his?
Yeah, if I was being serious. While Dave Grohl is a personal hero of mine, the recurring Jesus gag is done mostly as a joke. Or is it? Good to know that you're so lacking in a sense of humor that you need a joke explained to you. This relates to my next point. One thing that most, if not all, of the bands I've mentioned in this video have in common is, and I'm sorry if this pisses any of you guys off, they're bands I find to be overrated. You might ask about here,
what exactly makes a band overrated?
well, it's a combination of media and press coverage and the fans. So this is the only place bringing up the fans actually makes sense. Even if you were using personal anecdotes to justify why you view a band as being overrated, like I kinda did with Pink Floyd, and while I could point that out as being a generalization on your part, I can still understand where you're coming from. Keep in mind, being overrated and being shitty don't mean the same thing. The music itself doesn't really play a part in why a band is considered overrated, just whether you like or dislike the band. Like, I consider Iron Maiden to be highly overrated. Does this have anything to do with their music? No, I love Iron Maiden's music. So by process of elimination, the issue here is with the fans. To conclude this video, like I said before, just because I don't like a fan base or find a band to be overrated as a result of their fan base, it doesn't necessarily mean I don't like their music or that I find it to be shitty. And it shouldn't be a correlation that you guys partake in either. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why bashing something because of its fan base is stupid. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, take care, and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.